Welcome back to Art Estate. Today's guest is Georgia Johnston, a Vancouver Island-based wedding and portrait photographer who's been capturing life and love for over 15 years.
Sometimes unintentional stuff is amazing because you do make mistakes. It just happens. But sometimes they just have this soul to them.
Her work is poetic, authentic, and dramatically romantic. And she blends film and digital to create imagery that feels timeless. In this conversation, we talk about staying creatively inspired after years of shooting weddings, how film can pull you off of autopilot, and the business lessons that shape you along the way. So if you're ready, let's dive right into my conversation with Georgia Johnston. Your space is so cool. I love all your photos behind you.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, it's so cool.
Maximalist, I guess.
It's great. Are some of them your shots, or are they just shots that you're inspired by?
A lot of the photos are mine, but there's some art pieces as well that aren't mine.
So cool.
Yeah, it's nice because it's just kind of ever changing. I've started off with this. What do you call it? Like a cork board.
Yeah.
And you just kind of place it all around. And then even the frames are pretty easy to kind of switch in and out
I love
when you
it.
get a new piece. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
I find it really inspiring. I think you've inspired me to kind of build out my walls a bit. They're super plain right now. So
it's so easy to do. I feel like it's really intimidating to start one.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, it just is. I did a gallery wall upstairs in my living room as well, and it just took me so long to actually start it.
Yeah,
because it's overwhelming. You don't know where to start, I guess.
Yeah,
and you just start it, and I promise you, it's easier. It's easier than you think.
Did you start with one piece in particular, like one photo, or how did you start?
I mean, to be honest with you, this is I'm in my office right now, and I would use this a lot as a Zoom backdrop for client meetings.
Yeah.
So I think I started with maybe some of my framed pieces up, and then every Zoom meeting I had with a client, I would kind of move stuff around. And
yeah.
So yeah, it's really just a mash of things.
I love it.
I've found when I started, it was very simple and minimalist. And I feel like that's a lot harder to do than just throwing everything up there. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Yeah.
I love it. And I love that. I just find it really inspiring to look at too.
Yeah. It's kind of like a mood board, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it's really easy to switch it up. Lots of these are just on corkboard. These frames are hung, but it's easy to switch. They change all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that black and one photo is really cool. Did you take, both of them are.
This one?
Yeah. Is that you
this one
or
here?
Is that yeah?
No, that's two friends of mine. Back in the glory days, I think they've got a 6-pack of beer in their hands. We ran out to the car. This is probably taken at 2 a.m.
Love it.
And yeah, that's just them grabbing beer from the car and coming back inside.
Was that taken on film or was that
no? That's
point and shoot?
A digital shot.
Yeah. Nice.
I think it was my big camera with a flash on it. It was a point and shoot. But I feel like I did that a lot when I was younger. I would drink with my friends and just turn it into, I just have my camera and we just do these crazy things. And sometimes they were planned and sometimes they were 2 a.m. wanderings in the street. But I feel like I had my camera around a lot and my friends were always down to be photographed.
Yeah.
Even more so when you've had a couple cocktails.
Of course. Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that's a big part of where my photography started, really.
It's such a cool shot. It's very iconic, it seems timeless and really captures a moment, takes you back into that moment in time, It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it truly is. It's it wasn't posed. It was really a snapshot. Even just looking at it now, it's probably 15 years old, that photo. So It's cool. It's just such a like snapshot from my youth. Yeah.
And look how hot her legs look. Like they're like
I know.
perfectly posed.
They're
Or
gorgeous.
like,
Both of them are just
yeah.
yeah, like the composition is it's great. But it wasn't intentional. It
Yeah.
was just a snapshot. And I feel like that's another big thing that I love a lot about photography is that you don't have to have intention in every photo.
Yeah.
You could just kind of catch these moments by
Yeah.
accident and they're incredible.
Yeah.
But you just have to have a camera, right?
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
just have to be shooting for those to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's, I guess, a really good example because yeah, the way her like, I mean, I guess her foot is cut off, so it's not perfect, but I feel like the way that, and with the car behind them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It
the composition
works.
is,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I actually don't
yeah,
mind the foot being cut off too, because it's kind of like, even captures more of like the feel of like being in the moment, and like,
you,
right? Like maybe
it's
someone
funny.
critiquing it would say otherwise, but I
It's
think
funny
it's
now
kind
that
of
you
cool.
say that. I don't think I've ever noticed the foot being cut off, but now that I see it, it's driving me crazy.
Oh, you're going to change it out after, aren't
Like
you?
I've never noticed it. I've never looked at that before in that way, but now it's all I can see. Isn't that
Well,
funny?
it doesn't bother me. And actually, I didn't notice right away either, but it reminds
Until I
me
pointed it out.
of who was I think it was Lara Jade, and she was talking about this one, like how she was setting up this shot like on Broadway in New York, and it was this model. She was like, I'm going to use a 24-70 lens, and I'm going to, capture the scene, and I want you to walk towards me, and I'm going to cut off your foot, or like your leg is going to be kind of like coming out of frame. And so it
Yep.
reminds me of that. So I think it
Okay.
works. Yeah. Yeah. Don't let it bug you.
I love it. No, I mean, yeah, it's not gonna. It's just a funny observation.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I told you a lot of these photos were mine, but like that one is not mine. And I don't know if you can see that one over there.
Is it a
That's
cactus and over to the right
yeah,
there? Yeah.
it's just an old Ansel Adams print.
Cool.
This is can you see him?
Oh, is that a man?
Kinda.
Okay.
It's
Because
helmet.
I just,
It's
who
well,
is
he's
it?
crossed his legs. He's got heels on, and the way that his legs are crossed is very like sultry, and he's
Yeah.
got pretty fabulous legs himself.
Great
But yeah,
legs.
that's Helmut Newton. He's a photographer.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
The
and it was just a
icon.
portrait that I loved of him. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it Helmut Newton who always had like shoots in a corner, or is that someone else? Do you know
I
that
don't know
the
that
one?
that's a specific thing for him.
Who am
Helmut
I thinking
Newton
of?
was big on like voyeurism, and like he had a lot of pretty sexy photos.
Mm,
Um, very sexy photos. He shot a lot of models, but like a lot of very voyeuristic, borderline like perverted.
interesting.
Like I know that sounds awful, but I feel like perversion is probably a topic or like a theme in his work.
Yeah.
Anyways, I actually discovered him in photography school because we had to draw names out of a hat out of famous photographers and we had to do a presentation on them. And I got Helmut Newton and we had to we had to do a project on him and like present it to the class, but we also had to take a series of photos in their style of that photographer.
Mm,
So, yeah, it was I think about that a lot looking back to that because it was chance that I found him, but I just feel like I loved him so much. I feel like I don't know if he influenced my work. I mean, he must have in some way. I
hmm.
just think he's incredible. So
Yeah.
I think about that moment in school a lot it would just seem like the stars aligned that I got to pick his name because I just think he's so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting to think about inspiration or people that you admire and like artists that you admire. And it's like you do know that they influence you in some way. And it's just
hmm
it is kind of like an introspective thought to be like, I wonder like what aspect of my work, I've kind of like brought this person into, Like is it
Yeah.
composition or lighting or just, like capturing a moment or in that image it's like just something kind of like out of the ordinary, right? Like that's not something that you would see every day,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
so fabulous. I love it. Yeah. How long were you in film school for?
So I did a program. I did a condensed diploma program for 10 months at Western Academy of Photography in Victoria.
Okay.
And that was back, I graduated in 2010. Right on the cusp of like social media coming into full swing,
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook. And also kind of, when I went to school, it was the first year that they had stopped offering black and white darkroom. So it was all digital for the first time, which I was a little disappointed in, to be honest. When I signed up, when I enrolled, black and white darkroom was still on their like website and their curriculum.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed out to figure that out when I got there on the first week or whatever.
So they didn't have any film processing. So they just cut it off completely?
We did large format film in studio for like commercial work, because I guess I guess it was used a lot more. I'm sure it still is somewhat, but they have digital medium and large format cameras now.
Yeah.
So we did a very small amount of that, but no darkroom, no developing. No, yeah. It was just like a little afterthought, it felt like. It was, yeah, I mean, digital was taking over. I think film has swung right back around, but back then digital was so new and cool that film was it just wasn't a priority for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Digital was moving so quickly, and
it was the cool new thing, right?
It was the cool new thing.
And everyone wanted to try it and be part of it. And now I think that's like old hat. And so people are reverting back to like the origins, like bring back the film and the analog.
Totally. Yeah.
So how much of your work would you say is film? Like what would be the split? Like, is it 50-50 or like 60-40 digital?
Honestly, for my wedding work, I would say it's closer to 30% film, 70% digital. I shoot all of my personal work on film.
Okay.
I feel like for a number of reasons. I feel like a big reason is because I just don't want to add digital to my editing queue. It's so nice to just be able to take photos and then
there it is.
There it is. Not that I don't edit a lot of my film photos, but like for the most part, it's kind of just drop it off and get it back and choose the ones that you want to print or, frame or whatever. But yeah, the majority I would say is digital. I feel like film is kind of like at the core, and I feel like a lot of what I share is film. And digital just kind of supports it. A lot of my hero images are film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And digital kind of like fills in around it.
Yeah.
Supports it, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you shoot more digital for a wedding because it's safer?
That's probably part of it. I feel like the way that I shoot film is the way that film sings for me is in portraiture and still life. So like details, the surroundings, the venue, food, fashion, things that I don't shoot a lot of candid film.
Okay.
I don't shoot a lot of film at like receptions.
Is that because of the light? Because it's darker?
Light's part of it, but I find I feel like there's so much blinking and talking in receptions that you get photos back all the time, and I get photos back all the time, and I'm disappointed because you catch someone mid-blink or as they're talking or laughing or eating, and it's just, I don't know. That's a big part of it. Light is a big part of it too, for sure. I just find digital is such an incredible tool in low light. And for that reason, when you can kind of take a lot of photos at once, I feel like it's a really good way to help me with my editing too, to kind of, I don't necessarily match my digital edits to my film ones, but I definitely want them to look cohesive in the final gallery. I want the tones to complement each other. even if it's not necessarily matching, it needs to kind of be like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts kind of thing, you know?
It's interesting that you mentioned that you edit. So when you get your film scans back, do you edit those? Do you use Lightroom or?
I do sometimes. I do use Lightroom. I'm working right now with my lab. I use a lab called All Things Film in, or where are they? London, Ontario, I think.
Okay.
And they're incredible, and they're always asking for feedback. And because a huge part of shooting film is the processing of it and getting it scanned.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of like trying to, they want you to send inspo photos and they want you to give them feedback. But I find during wedding season, it's low on my priority list to spend the time. I don't know, I find very often that I don't spend as much time as I could working with my lab, and I'll do those tweaks myself. You know, they do a pretty damn good job of it, but I do little tweaks, little things like black point, bringing it up or down, or like contrast. Sometimes my photos will be a little bit overexposed.
Okay.
So I'll kind of like bring the contrast back and the exposure down slightly to bring them back. I don't usually mess too much with the color, but I don't know. Sometimes I do.
Yeah. What kind of film do you use?
I shoot mostly Portra 400. I'll use Portra 800 or Cinestill 800 sometimes. I've actually just started shooting a lot more black and white. Up until very recently, I would just shoot Portra 400 and then switch it into black and white in post-production. So I would just edit it and switch it. I know, and I tell people that. Some people are like, don't love that. And some people think it's fabulous. But regardless, I've recently started shooting black and white film and pushing it.
Okay.
Because black and white film pushes so well. You can take a 400 speed film and push it to 800 or 1600 or even 3200. So that's kind of a new thing I've been playing with.
And is it the contrast is higher when you push it?
Yeah, the contrast usually gets higher. The grain usually gets a little bit chunkier.
Okay.
The higher you push it. But overall, like I love a dramatic black and white photo. So it works often.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a new thing that I've been playing with.
That photo behind you, going back to it, was that originally shot in black and white or was it color?
No,
or you said it
was digital.
Digital.
So it was originally shot in color for sure. It was a raw image that I just threw a chunky, high contrast black and white preset on.
So were you the friend that always had the camera, and is that how you originally just decided that photography was for you?
I mean, yeah, kinda. I started shooting film with my mom's camera. It was actually my grandfather's camera that he had given her. And I started shooting with it in high school. Ironically, I took black and white film photography in high school, and I wound up dropping out because I was failing, because I would spend all my time in the parking lot doing things that I shouldn't be doing instead of going to class. So that's kind of ironic. But I loved my mom's camera. I went to Europe with a digital camera and just fell in love with taking photos. My mom gave me that film camera of my grandfather's right before I went on a road trip to the American Southwest and like coast.
Oh.
Like we did Coachella, and we went to like Palm Springs and the Grand Canyon and Las Vegas and Sedona. Like we just did this incredible life-changing road trip. And I had my camera with me the whole time, my film camera, and I probably took 20 rolls of film and came home and was just like, oh my God, I love this. And I remember being on this trip and one of my friends was like, you should go to photography school. Like you could do this. You love it. Like you could do this. And I just remember being like, that is insane. There's no way that I could like go to photography school and do that for a living. And I remember that moment so clearly. He was just like, why not? I think he was taking like a communications class through VIU at the time, which did like touched on photography as well. I think It was like a piece of the program. Anyways, yeah, and it kind of like planted a seed, and I just kept taking photos and bought my first digital SLR and enrolled in photography school.
Amazing. You know, I have a similar sort of story in that I had someone kind of point out to me too. It's like, well, why aren't you doing this? And it's like,
Yeah,
well, I don't know. Like, I'm not any good at, like you kind of need
yeah,
that affirmation when it comes to something like that everyone does. And so you just don't really know if you're better or worse. You're just like kind of cruising along. And then when someone points it out, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, maybe there is something there. Like I know I love it, but
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
yeah. Cheers to all the people out there that point things out to dumbass
yes, and
artists.
cheer you on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and encourage you to like
Yeah.
follow your dreams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure just like me, it's been a journey for you. And you start off where you're like, okay, I love what I do. I'm going to just offer photography to other couples and clients and just kind of fumble my way through this. But eventually you kind of learn like that there's like this whole sort of business side to it and like learning how to grow a business. And what was that like for you? Did you learn any hard lessons
Oh my
along the
God.
way?
Yes, of course. I too many to count probably, but business, yeah, was a struggle for me. I really started my foundation was broken. Like I finished photography school. Um they tried to teach us some business stuff, but it's just like it's so funny. It's until you go through these things, I feel you just really never know. People can give you advice and try and teach you things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess maybe until you're ready to hear it or unless you experience it yourself. Anyways, one of the big mistakes I made early on is I didn't file my taxes. So
Mm,
didn't I started, I graduated photography school, went back to serving, photographing here and there, and I just, like, didn't do my taxes, and then, like, the next year I didn't do my taxes, and then the year after that I didn't do my taxes, and it was 10 years before I did my taxes.
oh my God, 10 years.
10 years, I'm not even exaggerating. It was 2010, um, to 2020, and yeah, that was crazy.
Did you owe like hundreds of thousands of
Oh my god,
dollars?
so much money. It was the what I had for the few years after sorry, for the few years before I finally filed them, I had been putting money away,
Mm,
knowing that I had this looming, massive bill coming, and yeah, I don't know, just one day it just kinda clicked. It's another ironic thing. I went full-time with my business in 2019, right before the pandemic hit,
mm.
and I was fully booked and I felt really good. I had some money put away to start paying off my taxes, and then the pandemic hit and it just like everything just like fell apart in front of me, and I remember feeling like, "Oh my god." It was so scary. Um, but it all worked out. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't even really know what to say about it. Like I had some money put away. I worked at it for a few years. I paid it off. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
get an accountant,
Yes, that
get a
is
bookkeeper.
a good tip because
Yeah,
I also ran into some trouble too when I first started because um in the province that I live in, I have to charge PST, like provincial sales
right.
tax. And I didn't know that. Like I just thought I had to charge GST. Um and so yeah, like I think a couple years into my owning a business, the Ministry of Finance contacted me and they're like, "Hey, so you have to start charging PST and you also owe us all this money from the last 2 years." And so I didn't anticipate that. I didn't have that. So basically I
Yeah,
paid like out of pocket to pay for
yeah,
this provincial sales tax. So major lesson learned there. Taxes and sales taxes and yeah, charging
yeah,
tax.
yeah, and I feel like I kind of was I don't know, I just remember thinking I guess I was young and I was just so so stupid. But I just was like, "Well, if I don't know about it, I can't get in trouble for not knowing about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's your responsibility to know all of the rules." And, yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn. Not that I knew I had to do my taxes, but I
Yeah.
just played dumb, I think, for so many years, and then it snowballed, and it kind of, like, got beyond a point of feeling like it almost felt it didn't feel real or like there was
Mhm.
no way out. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was brutal. But yeah, you definitely wanna stay on that. Business stuff is so annoying.
Mhm. Did you have anyone that you could ask questions to, or a community, or like a mentor?
Um, I didn't really have a mentor. I feel like that was another maybe big lesson that I learned early on, and again, maybe it was the industry at the time because there were so many new up and coming photographers with this, like, new wave of digital and social media and people wanting more photos for things that they never wanted photos for before.
Mhm.
But I found that at the beginning it felt very competitive and, like, not collaborative,
Yeah.
and it felt like there was a lot of gatekeeping. It felt like, I don't know, you just had to figure stuff out on your own.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that was actually true or if that was just my
Right.
perspective
Yeah.
at the time. Um, Actually, you know what? That's not true. I should shout out Kelsey Goodwin. I don't know if she's still doing photography. She was incredible. I found her when I was in photography school. She was an old student and she was just this incredible wedding photographer
Mm.
that I just looked up to. I thought she was so cool. I remember seeing her on the bus one day in downtown Victoria and like having this like celebrity moment with her. Like I couldn't even go say hi to her because I was just like, "Oh my god, that's her. She's so cool." But that again is coming back to like putting people on this pedestal. Anyways, she I wound up, like, working with her, and I would assist for her, I would do, like, random things here and there for her, and she was always really good about sharing her knowledge
Mm.
and answering questions, so I should shout her out, she was great.
Mm. Yeah, that's great
Yeah.
that you had someone in your corner and someone that you, like, respect and kinda looked up to so much too, because that, I'm sure,
Yeah.
influenced your work as well later on.
Yeah. I think and building a community is definitely where things started to really happen.
Yeah.
Like, when you realize as a community how much you can help one another,
Mhm.
that was really important,
Mhm.
because it's such an isolating job. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And there's so much to learn. Like,
So
it's
much to learn.
so, and always learning, right? Because it's
Yeah.
constantly changing, styles are changing,
Yes.
client wants and needs are changing and different, and
Constantly.
business is changing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into it. What are some of the techniques that you use to market your business when you first started?
Oh gosh, I mean, I didn't really do much marketing at all, to be honest. I kinda had a slow burn at first. I was in this mindset when I was younger that the work would find me
Mm.
and that I just didn't it's like I didn't try, I didn't set goals. I kind of had a really aimless existence in
Mm.
general. When I graduated school, I was kind of, all I wanted to do was, like, party with my friends. I worked at restaurants and I did photography, and both of those jobs were really great for having, like, an easy schedule. Like, I would
Mhm.
do weddings in the summer, but then it just yeah, it worked well for that, and I didn't market myself at all. I just slowly built my business through word of mouth, and looking back, like, that definitely wasn't the smartest way to go about it, but I don't think that I was really ready for it at the time either.
Well, I guess, looking back on my own journey too, it's like, well, I guess there was social media was the biggest driver, that
Yes.
and word of
Huge.
mouth, and so
Yes.
if I think if you're doing a good job and people are happy, that's almost your best marketing, right? Like other
Yeah.
people as well. And then Instagram is good as like to show your portfolio and kind of that you're constantly working and I think that that's a big thing. Like people want someone that is busy, you know?
Yes.
They don't
Yeah.
want to like go to an Instagram page and it's like you haven't posted in 2 years and they
Yes.
want someone that's like happening now type of deal.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think that's a really good point too. Like for me to Instagram and Facebook was huge.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be where I am without those things. And even when I did my final project in photography school, they made us do portfolios, like
Mm.
real printed out books where you would go. The point of them was to go to places and give them your portfolio and say, "This is my work. Do you want to hire me?" Which is insane.
It's
I mean, I don't know, maybe
outdated.
that's not
Yeah.
it's just crazy to think about.
Mhm.
And also probably not the smartest. Like, I think they would have been better to, like, have us build a website, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah,
that would have been our
exactly.
final
More
project
modern.
or something.
Yeah, because like I would think that printing a portfolio book would be maybe relevant in the 90s, you know, where you're going around to
Yeah.
agencies and showing your work that way. But yeah, we live in a very digital world and
Yes.
people want to see things and digest them on their own time too. They don't want to meet with
Yeah.
you, chances are,
No.
especially if it's the
Totally.
first time. So yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
But to think back even about how that's how it used to be
Hmm.
before social media, it's crazy to think so many of our jobs. Not to say that there wouldn't be photographers, of course there would be, but I just yeah, social media really put a lot of us on the map,
Yeah.
myself
Change
included.
the
Because
game.
Facebook,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's where I got all my business from. I still don't think I've spent. Well, that's not true. I finally have. I This year I've signed up for a Web Vibes registry, which is like I feel like it's a little bit. I'm trying to work on like SEO and getting my name out there on the internet and getting featured, yada yada yada. So I'm just kind of like investing a little bit into that. But up until that, I haven't spent any money on marketing at all.
Hmm.
It's all just been Facebook and Instagram.
That's great.
So
Yeah. Where are you with Facebook these days? Like, do you actively post to it, or would you say like the most of
no,
the posting is on Instagram?
most of it's on Instagram. And I usually will post to Threads too, just because I have a Threads account, but I don't yeah, I'm not super social media savvy. Facebook I don't use for business. I use it for like mom groups,
Mm,
getting information about
yeah. It seems
I don't
like
know.
groups are the way to go on Facebook. I would say
Yeah,
that when I post to my Facebook page, it
yeah,
is like crickets.
yeah.
And
Or like moms or like grandmas
yeah,
of the brides that you know what I mean?
right.
Like it's just a
Yeah.
different generation of people that are on there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
I feel like I don't spend much time there anymore.
yeah.
And yeah, the majority of the time is on pretty much Instagram, actually doing a lot more on YouTube these days. Obviously
Really?
for
I
the
guess that makes
podcast,
sense. Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting like the community that is on YouTube is yeah, it's interesting. I like it. They
Yeah.
like to learn.
Yes.
And they're very
Yeah.
loyal. I've
Yeah.
so shout out YouTube followers
Shout
that are
out.
watching
Yeah.
this right now.
Yeah.
And comment
I feel like
below.
I feel like a lot of photographers even learned on YouTube. That's how they learned. Like
Mhm.
that was
Oh,
another thing, the
100%.
height of or not the height, but the beginning of social media was also the beginning of YouTube. And not long after I graduated from photography school, they were out of business
Okay.
because people just didn't need to do it anymore. There was
Yeah.
online courses, you could go to workshops, you could go to styled shoots, you could learn on YouTube for free or
Mhm.
for very little. Um, so yeah, it kind of like made it obsolete unless you were going to school for like an art degree,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's different. But
Do you have any regret about going to getting your diploma or did you
I mean, I regret's a tough one. No, I don't want to say I regret it, but I looking back at it, it was kind of a joke. It was a lot of money. It was out of date. I feel like the school itself was struggling. I met incredible teachers there, and
mm,
I still am in contact with some of them. Shout out to Andrea Kucherave and Christina Kraft. I also met I made good I made some
connections.
connections
Yeah.
there. Like I learned a lot. Could I have done it differently? Yeah, I probably could have. And I probably could have saved a lot of money in the process, but I can't say that I regret it.
Yeah. No. I don't think you can ever regret education. Plus,
Yeah.
I feel like, were you freshly out of high school at that point and you were just kind of looking for a launching point or like a
I
place to
think
kind
how
of
old was I? I think I
discover?
was 21.
Okay.
So I had taken a few years off. I was actually out of high school. I was considering, I mean, I dropped out of my film class, but I had taken filmmaking in grade 11 and 12
Mm.
and done really well in that, really enjoyed it. We won first place at the BC Student Film Festival for a film that I directed and edited, and that was a big, like, I was toying with the idea of going to film school, and it didn't happen, and I wound up traveling, doing some backpacking and yada, 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 and then came back and was like, "Okay, well, I gotta do something."
Yeah.
And that's when so, yeah, I was probably 21,
Right.
22 when I did photography school. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's shift into like your equipment. What kind of photography equipment do you use, or cameras, I should say?
So, I use, Canon R5.
Hmm. Me too.
Um, I also have my Mark IVs that I still
Mm.
love, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really use them a lot, but I refuse to let them go because I love them. Um, so that's my digital kit, and then film cameras, I shoot mostly with a Canon 1V,
Oh
which
yeah.
is just a 35 millimeter,
Yeah.
SLR. I can use it with
Such a
all my
good
Canon
camera.
glass. It's amazing. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first discovered film having autofocus,
Mm.
it just changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
This was a while ago, but still, like, I think I got a Canon Elan 7 off of Etsy for like $100, and I could use all my Canon glass on it, all my expensive digital glass,
Yeah.
which was also a game changer. So I had this essentially, it just like extended my kit into a film kit. All of
Mm-hmm.
my gear I could use with film. So that
That's
was crazy
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And then I've got a medium format Pentax 645N that is amazing. It's a beautiful camera, but it's pretty big and chunky. So I
Mm-hmm.
usually only use it, and the lenses that I have for it only go down to 2.8, so
Mm.
it needs light.
Okay.
So I usually only use that for like midday portraits. Sometimes I'll use it for details, especially if they're outdoor details. But it's kind of has like a specific use for the day, whereas like the Canon 1V I'll use from start to finish. A Holga, I love a Holga. Um, I don't know if it was you. Was it Rebecca Frank that was talking
Yes.
about this? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like 9 out of 10
Yeah.
of the shots are dog shit, but then you get these ones and they're just so perfect. And I couldn't agree with it more. Like, I just love it. It's the money that I probably waste on this thing. I don't know if it's justifiable, but when it clicks, it just sings. So I love that one.
Do you use flash with that? Because
I
that's
only
the
use Flash
tip.
with it.
Okay. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
hot
And
tip.
it took me a while to do that. I went through a lot of my first Holga that I had a built-in flash, and I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, that's enough." And it's just like this little 1 centimeter square. Garbage, doesn't work. I don't even know what the point of it is. Because I think the f-stop on the Holga, I think you can choose between f8 and f11,
Okay.
but both very high and with a shutter speed of 100. So you need a lot of light to
Yeah.
get in there. But yeah, I love a Holga. It just keeps things fun, and I feel like the juxtaposition of like this old janky camera with like these beautiful, sparkly, I
Mm.
don't know, weddings, it just works really well.
Yeah. I could see
I feel
that.
like it works with a certain type of wedding. I feel
Mm.
like
Mm-hmm.
if you're I feel like on rustic weddings, it doesn't work as well. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just, in my opinion, anyways,
Yeah.
that's how but there's something about the juxtaposition
Mm-hmm.
of this like cheap, I don't know, yeah, this cheap point and shoot mixed with glitzy weddings that I
Yeah.
just think is so cool.
Yeah. I couldn't
And then
agree
I have
more.
an Olympus. Yeah, I have an Olympus Miju 2.
Is that just a point and shoot? Just like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't love it though. I feel like I don't even actually know why I told you I have it because I don't really use it.
No?
I should probably gift it to someone because I feel like I used it more when I first was getting into film, but now maybe that does like a Holga's job for me or like the whole it's just like, yeah, I don't
Kind
know.
of like a filler, just want to try it, take it with it just to see what happens. Is it like a party camera? Is that where you would use it, like on the dance floor or something? Or
yeah, I don't know when I would bring it to like engagement shoots and use it.
Okay.
Or I just yeah, I've got some good shots with it. I guess it's small, it's compact, it's point and shoot. You don't have to think. It's just like you pull the shutter. It's not even a shutter. It's like a little lens cover. You pull it open. And it's just good to go. So like, but I feel like I don't shoot film that way. I feel like I shoot film and I like stop and I take a light reading and I just, it's hard for me to shoot film off the cuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you use a light meter then?
I do use a light meter. Yes. As much as I can, for sure. I mean, if you don't have one, you can make do because most of these cameras have light meters in them. But I just found my work, and my lab would agree that my work just improved so much after using one. It was actually my lab that recommended it. Like I was underexposing enough that they were like, we just really think that you could use a light meter. I remember this scene. It was a wedding party, and there was a bunch of black suits and light colored dresses, and they were all underexposed. And my lab was like, these are really tricky scenes because your camera's light meter will read this and there's a lot of black and there's a lot of white and it doesn't really know what to do. And the way to make this a banging shot would be to meter it. And so you know exactly what you're getting.
How do you meter it? Like, do you use because there's a few different ways to meter.
Yeah. I mean, you can use an in-camera meter. But the way that I use my light meter is it's just got like a little white bulb on the front of it. And I will put it usually in a mid-tone to shadow area of the photo and expose for that.
Okay. And if you're shooting film, do you shoot exactly what it says or do you typically like go up a stop?
I usually go up a stop.
Okay. Yeah.
I usually go up a stop. I feel like it's almost like a security blanket in a sense where it's so much easier
to overexpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Film can handle 4 to 5 stops of overexposure where like one stop underexposed
kills it.
It doesn't ruin it because sometimes those like kind of muddy photos are actually like a vibe and they can look really cool, but they're not necessarily done intentionally. And we talked a little bit about that earlier. Like sometimes unintentional stuff is amazing. And that's a big part of why I love film too, because you do make mistakes. It just happens.
Yeah.
But they're just so good sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they're not. But sometimes they just have this like soul to them. But yeah, so you always want to try and overexpose film if you can, because you can bring it back very easily in the same way that digital you can bring back from pretty much blackness. And if you overexpose digital or you clip the white,
it's almost like the reverse.
It's literally the reverse.
Yeah.
Which is why film is such a crazy one. Like, especially now with digital cameras where you literally don't even look at an eyepiece anymore. You just look at the back of the camera.
Yeah.
The process is so different. But like, not to say film is better. Or film, like I love shooting digital. I feel like I love my digital camera. I love my film camera. They just both do different things. They're just different tools.
I know. And it is fun to see the end result right away versus waiting 2 to 3 weeks.
Yes. It's torture.
Yeah.
That 2 to 3 week wait is torture.
Yeah.
I used to go, we used to have a lab here in Victoria, but it went out of business probably 2 years ago. So now I ship all my stuff out east. Admittedly, I use London Drugs a lot.
Okay.
Especially for personal work because their turnaround is like literally
overnight or
you'll
something.
have it back.
Yeah.
It's like hours. Like awesome. 24 hours is the most I've ever waited for London Drugs. They are not cheap. But what I love about them is they scan with Noritsu, and that's the scanner that I prefer. And they do like an automatic scan. So like lots of times your scans come back and they're not great and you have to edit them kind of a little bit more like we were talking about earlier, like a
Yeah.
lot more than I would have to getting it from my lab. But I mean, like, shameless plug to London Drugs. They do a pretty good job. And especially for personal stuff, it's quick. I mean, I use it for not personal stuff too, but for the most part, I'm sending my film away. They do a better job at my pro lab for a million different reasons. But I'm not afraid to use London Drugs, and they're great in a pinch.
Okay, well that's good to know. Why do you prefer Noritsu scans?
I just I find that they're softer. I like the tones more. Frontier scans are a little bit more high, quite a bit more high contrast, and I feel like they have this cyan in the shadows that it doesn't really work for my work. I like my stuff a little bit softer. I heard I'm going to butcher this, but I heard someone comparing Noritsu and Frontier scanners as like Frontier was like the Hollywood blockbuster. It's super crisp and sharp in like Dolby surround sound. And it's just like dazzling for your eyes because the colors are so bright and vibrant. And Noritsu is this like 60s French art film that's just soft and, dimly lit. And I just really liked that, the way that was.
It definitely has more of a romantic sound to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay more attention. Yeah. Okay.
I was using Canadian Film Lab for a while. They're based in Hope, and they only have Frontier scanners.
Oh,
and I was getting my scans back, and I was just like, they're just not coming. There was something about them, and I would try and work with them, and I would say, this is what I don't like, this is what I do like. Can we work with this? And we tried for like a couple seasons, and I just couldn't get it to a place where I was happy with the scans. So that's what made me go to All Things Film.
Okay. So I have a question for you. So once you get your scans back and you reach out to the lab with your feedback, do they re-scan them, or is this just notes for the future?
They have offered to rescan them. Like I said, I don't do a ton of it. Usually what I'll do with my feedback is I will edit the photo how I like it, and then I send it to them. I say, and I'll put them side by side, and I'll say, this is the photo you sent me, this is how I want it to look. So it's rescanning it would be a little bit redundant because I've already brought the photo to where it is. I mean, I'm sure you could ask them to do that if you wanted to for whatever reason.
Yeah. I wanted to shift into weddings and quantity of weddings. And how do you find you stay like creative and excited for weddings when you shoot so many?
That's a great question. I've been doing this for so long too. Like, I feel like this is my 16th year of shooting weddings. I think a big part of what has kept this exciting for me is reintroducing film into my workflow. Film is something that I've shot for years personally, but bringing it into my wedding workflow has taken me off autopilot and like made me a student again, because as I have lots of experience with film, but I'm nowhere near mastering it. You know what I mean? And I just find that it's really exciting it's just really exciting to experiment and play with it and learn with it and push myself and challenge myself. And well, yeah, like I said, it's taken me off autopilot. So I feel like it's changed the way I look at weddings. I feel like with that has come in the last few years, my business has grown every year. I feel like I'm getting better and I'm attracting clients that are want what I'm giving and encouraging me to do what I do. So that's really great. I think that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. I have to say that I was going on a deep dive on your website and your Instagram before we were chatting today. And I love like the diversity of your shots? You know, it's not always the same shot. Like I feel like you really do a good job of curating what you show. And I fall in love with like how I think there was like a shot of like a purse like draped on like a door handle, and like I don't know, your detail shots are so good, and I'm just curious to get in your head on like how you decide to like take a picture of those things, or how that all comes to be. Like how do you know that it'll be a good shot, or maybe you don't, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't That's a great question. I feel like a lot of the detail shots again are film. I think I know the purse photo that you're talking about. It's
Mhm.
like a silver sparkly purse.
Yeah.
That's a Holga shot.
What?
Like there's just something about it,
Oh
right?
my
That's just
god.
like, and again, I find Holga works really well with like sparkles,
Okay.
like sparkly shoes or rings or just anything that kind of reflects, because it just has this quality of like, anyway, yeah, it's hard to describe what it is, but
Yeah.
it just clicks. It just looks great. So a lot of time with details, I'm shooting film. I am kind of obsessed with details. You
Mhm.
probably noticed that in my work. Like I love shoes, I love the fashion, I love the jewelry, I love the flowers, I just love, I love it.
Mhm.
So I think couples as well see that in my work, and if that's what they want, they come to me with all of these beautiful things,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Photograph them for me."
Right.
Um,
You know, and it's very much now that I see like your space, like it is kind of a mix of details and like moments and action shots. So that it's interesting how that kind of like parallels itself in your
yeah,
work.
totally. Totally, that's interesting. I feel like film too has added that, because I do strive to give a like cohesive curation, but I do try really hard to give variety. And I feel like mixing film with digital gives you that, and mixing all those different film cameras too, because they all give you something different. Your digital is going to give you something different. You can also manipulate your digital in a really incredible way
Mhm.
while you're shooting, and also in post processing. Um, up close, zoomed in macro shots with pulled back shots, with action shots, with posed, just like overly posed photos mixed with candids, mixed with, I mean, it's a wedding day, right? Like that's
Yeah.
why wedding days are so much fun, because you just get all of that.
Yeah.
And I do try really hard to tell that story that way.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that you noticed it, because that is intentional. I do try and show that.
Mm. Where do you source your inspiration from? Like when you are
Oh my
looking
gosh.
to, yeah.
That's a good question. I don't
Is
even know
it
the answer to that.
like nature, or like do you
I
get
mean,
quiet with yourself, or
I love nature, and I'm incredibly inspired by nature. I love being out in the garden. I love being by the sea. We live on Vancouver Island, in a small town on Vancouver Island, and um, I feel like every chance I get being in nature, I find that deeply inspiring. I don't know how that translate to my work though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially because so much of my work now are these like crazy high-end weddings with, you know, so much going on.
Mhm.
Um,
It could just be even that creates space for you, you know, like you can't always be in that um super like almost like anxious environment in a way, because
yeah,
weddings have like that higher energy and people are nervous and excited. And so, yeah, maybe pulling back from that and being in a calmer, sort of like more grounding place is just
yeah,
somewhere that you can feel supported, and then kind of build up that tank again to like go back in and bring your creativity and space.
yeah, that's a really good point. Um, I don't know, yeah, I guess just life. Life is just so
Inspiring.
Inspiring. I mean, but yeah, no, I like the way that you said that. And I wish I had a better answer for you. I like
No.
what you said. I agree with it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that sounds good.
I really fell in love with your bio on your website. I just I don't know if you wrote it or who wrote it, but I felt like it said enough to like know who you are, and it just felt I had a grounded sense, like a feeling, and I was like, oh, okay, you like being in your garden and with your daughter and your husband. It just had a like very I don't know, there was like connection there. So it was well written. Whoever wrote it.
Thank
if
you.
wrote it.
I did write it. I did write it. Thank you so much.
It was good.
Means the world to me too. I feel like writing is always something that I have loved. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what's next for you in your journey as a photographer and artist and business owner?
It's a great question. I think about that all the time. I love like down the road, oh my God, who knows? I am speaking at ARC, which is a wedding and portrait, I guess, photography conference.
Yeah.
In April in Vancouver, which I'm really excited about because it's kind of like dipping my toes into a teaching space.
Yeah.
Speaking, mentoring are things that I would really love to explore. But it's another one of those things, kind of like how we were talking about earlier with our start in photography at all. You're like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And Sachin, he puts this conference on. He kind of just believed in me, was like, do you want to speak? We'd love to. And he planted that seed in my brain and encouraged me. And so here we are. So I'm doing that in April. Shout out to Sachin. Shout out to ARC. If you've heard of it. I don't know if you have.
I haven't, but
where are you?
I'm in Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
Yeah,
okay.
in the prairies. Prairie girl.
That's pretty badass. There's something to me that's really romantic about the prairies.
Yeah.
But I feel like also, to be fair, I've spent my entire life on the south coast of Canada. So I feel like I'm a little soft for the prairies.
Oh, you think it's like pretty intense?
Well, just not intense, just like weather.
Oh,
weather-wise,
yes.
like these hard, like but saying that, I'm like, I think the snow is so romantic. I think the blue sky and a snowy day, like a bluebird day, there's something so romantic and incredible about that because we don't get that here.
Yeah, yeah.
Or even just like thinking of like the lakes and the farms and a prairie summer. Like, there's just something that I find, really romantic about it.
Yeah.
Claire from Doxa Photography. Is she in Saskatoon?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's from
here.
And
I feel like I see also prairie life through her lens, which romanticizes a lot too, I'm sure. But I don't know.
You'll have to come. I'll have to have you out.
Absolutely.
On the other podcast I recorded recently, I've all of a sudden this is very much me. All of a sudden I'm like, I'll have you out and we'll do a workshop. So I guess I'm starting something here. So I'll have you out and we'll do a workshop at some point. Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear more from you and learn from you. So have to make it happen.
Yeah.
So where can people find you and get in touch?
My website, georgiajohnston.com. My Instagram, Georgia Johnston Photography. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Perfect.
And I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for today. You were awesome.
Thank you. I was so nervous. So thank you for making me feel just, I don't know, like an old friend.
Good.
It was really nice to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, it won't be the last time. That's for sure.
I'm coming out.
That's right. It's on record now, so here we go. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Artist Date. If you enjoyed our conversation, be sure to subscribe and follow along on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content and updates at Artistate Podcast and at Nicole Romanoff Photo. You can now watch full episodes on YouTube. Just search Artistate Podcast and hit subscribe to follow along visually. New episodes drop every Tuesday. See you next time for another inspiring conversation.